It's the holiday season, a time of peace and harmony and family togetherness. Yeah, right. If you are living in the West, you probably understand the sarcasm in that statement. I will break it down for you and maybe even get a bit personal on this episode of Escape to the Philippines. Class is in session. Okay, in this video I will tell you about how I have found my personal happiness in the Philippines, but it might be a bit of a rough video for me to get through because I will need to explain part of the painful past that brought me to this point. Last night, my partner and I drove over to the family home where her mother, a brother, sister, her husband, and 4 kids all live. The mission was to draw names for a whole family Christmas gift exchange. And it looked for a while like we had a total debacle in the making. You see, it took 4 tries, count them, 4, before we were finally successful in getting the entire family, the whole extended gang included. But the drawing of names and the verbal banter, only about 10% of which I understood because I'm just now learning Tagalog, was not the best part. The best part is the reception I got from the nieces and nephews, 2 little girls in particular. Somehow, I've acquired the nickname of Popsy in this family. Upon my arrival, they come out of the house screaming, "Popsy!" and start running into my arms before retreating just long enough to do the Monopo Gesture. To explain what that is, it's a gesture where a young person will take the hand of the older person and press it to their forehead as a sign of respect. Respect, that's something older people get very little of back in the United States. I once had a coworker explain his family's redneck holidays to me. He said after the holiday dinner, the in-laws would gather around a card table to play poker or spades. Within a few minutes, one aunt would accuse her sister-in-law of cheating. Then she flew over the table and the fight was on. Now I wonder how many of you had such holiday stories. But I digress. Let's get back to the Philippines experience. The youngest of the girls quickly takes her usual spot on my lap. She talks to me as she plays Roblox on her phone, and I hug her tightly as my mind floats back to an earlier time, many years ago. I once knew a little girl who looked very different with her blonde hair and blue eyes, but who was just as precious to me. She was my firstborn, Daddy's little girl, who I have now not seen for decades. My ex-wife, her mother, decided to use her as a weapon to hurt me. What was supposed to be a short cooling-off trip for my ex and kids to see Grandma in California became, in my ex's perverted version, throwing away my family. And that's the version that got drilled into my young daughter's brain, and the reason we have never had any communication for so many years. The term for this is parental alienation. And in the description, I have included a TED Talk on this very subject. Unanswered phone calls, a rejected phone call from a new daddy, and a surprise change of phone number when the new daddy brought them to Europe, as I eventually discovered, marked the ensuing years. Suffice to say, my ex doesn't have the same family values I now enjoy in the Philippines. And by the way, the new daddy didn't last very long in their lives either. Men, I am here to tell you that there is a better way, a better place, where the women have a different attitude and the family is a cherished institution. To contrast with the redneck free-for-all in the West, here's a short video of a Filipino family Christmas. Gift-giving occurs, but it takes a back seat to the bonding and organized games for both children and adults. People above material things, let's call it.
Hindi. Hindi.
Meron ako.
Oo.
Tagalog.
Hindi.
English. Meron ako ngayon.
Hindi.
Nasa bahay.
Hindi.
Meron ako ng umi.
Hindi. Pwede, pwede. Pwede, 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 pwede. Pwede, pwede.
I now have a partner who is truly a partner in life, her grown daughter, who is slowly becoming a daughter to me, a grown and married son who will stay up late with me analyzing the affairs of the world over a bottle of Red Horse, and his son, my newest grandson, or Apo. And there are more sisters, brothers, nieces, and nephews who all share a strong bond. The sense of family is not all about blood either. My Filipina stepdaughter's best friend is a regular fixture around the house, to the extent that I have become referring to her as my extra daughter. And yes, she is included in the family gift exchange. For Western guys who are single and retired, or who have the ability to work remotely or as a digital nomad, there is a better path. Maybe you aren't pulling down six figures or have six-pack abs. Those seem to be the two biggest prerequisites for women looking to date or marry in the West. Clearly, I have neither. But it doesn't matter. A few extra years of age screams security and mature responsibility to a woman in the Philippines. And most Filipinas are looking for financial security, not necessarily extravagant wealth. So the average Joe has a shot, especially since the cost of living in the Philippines is probably only about a quarter of what it is in the US. So, what is your ultimate reward? You will most likely be rewarded with a partner who is into the traditional roles of wife and mother. And, of course, children in your life who make some of that lifelong pain feel a bit better. For that, my little nieces have a spot on my lap for as long as they fit. If you have a success story about family ties in the Philippines, I invite you to share it in the comments section. Or maybe you remember your own redneck holiday free-for-all in the West. I would love to read about your experiences. I would also love it if you would click the like button if you enjoyed this video. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you can catch the upcoming videos. It all helps me grow my channel so I can continue bringing new content to you. And until next time, class is dismissed. Merry Christmas!